Why are you arresting her?
Bernice, the idea that a black Georgia state representative is being arrested and pulled away while the governor signs what critics call Jim Crow 2.0, what goes through your mind?
Don, to me, it's despicable, and it's obviously reminiscent of everything that my father, John Lewis, C.T. Vivian, Amelia Boynton, and so many others sacrificed their lives for. That we would not have to continue to use these kind of efforts to stop injustice and, frankly, inhumanity, if I might say so. So I applaud her bravery, her courage, because we're in those times now, not in a violent way, but in a nonviolent way. We're going to have to be willing to be courageous and continue to let our voices be heard and strategize and mobilize. And sometimes we got to sacrifice where it hurts.
Mm-hmm. I said, and I agree with you in a nonviolent way, but I said this is, people should be outraged. And someone texted me saying that they're not outraged, they're horrified. They're horrified at what they're seeing right now. There were many people who fought and went to jail, as you know, when your father was fighting for the right to vote and for civil rights. I just want to tell you, this is what Georgia State Patrol says happened, okay? So that Representative Cannon was instructed to stop knocking on the door, and that Georgia Governor Kemp was having a press conference inside. Representative Cannon continued to knock on the door, they say, was instructed again to stop knocking on the door. She was advised that she was disturbing what was going on inside, and that if she didn't stop, she would be placed under arrest. Do you have any reaction to that?
They're a bunch of fucking racists.
Well, I mean, I don't agree that she should be placed under arrest. But I think the real bigger picture is that we have got to find a way in this country to create a more just and humane society. And it's going to take a lot of work on everybody's part. And I particularly want to make an appeal that so many people have done already, and many of us continue to do, to corporate America. They have a lot of strength and influence and power in our state legislatures, on Capitol Hill, and we need them to make the sacrifices. Too many of us and our ancestors have had to bear the brunt of sacrifice and suffering in this nation for people to still enjoy their privilege. And it's time for others to step up to the plate and sacrifice and have to suffer some for the sake of advancing justice in this nation. And so I think that's the bigger issue now. What happened in Georgia happened because we did not see enough effort. We fell short in Georgia. Not those in the activist community, but our corporate leaders, our civic leaders, even to a certain extent, some of our religious leaders. We fell short in doing what was necessary to make sure that this kind of legislation would not have passed. We're going to have to strategize now. We're going to have to organize. And my daddy and them did it over and over again. When they had these kind of setbacks, they had to re-strategize. They had to reorganize and remobilize and come back again. The fact is that we're at a place now that we got to vote in people who put humanity first. And we have a campaign now, the King Center, called Be Love, and we're asking people to pledge on that campaign. And one of those things is that we pledge to support leaders who have a love for humanity. And certainly the efforts that happen here, they have no love for humanity.
But that may be tough to do, though, when you have people. Listen, one of the things that this does is puts into the hands of people who takes out of the hands of people who voted to do things the way they should be done November of 2020. And at any point, the Republican legislators can step in and do what they will if there is some question about the vote. so I know you say we've got to vote or people have to vote and vote in the right people, but what if your vote doesn't really count when it comes to what's in this bill? It may not count because it's rigged in some way.
Right. I get that, and that's even more why we have to deal with the filibuster issue in Washington, because there are some ways through the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act to help to correct some of what has happened in Georgia and what may happen across other states in this country. And so, my hope and my focus now is we have to focus on Washington and regroup on what happened in our state. This is inexcusable. This never should have happened.
I hate to cut you off, but we're almost out of time. I'm up against the break here, but I just want to put this picture up. This is a governor tweeting this out, saying that he's proud to have signed in this photo. What do you see in this photo? You see all men, maybe all white men.
White men.
Changing the law to make it harder for communities of color to vote while a representative is knocking on a door outside and then subsequently being arrested. Your final thoughts, please.
Look, Jim Crow never died. He's in the heart and the minds of so many people. And when we have an opportunity to move forward, too many people invite him in. And so we are going to have to find a way in this nation, in this society, to do away with Jim Crow. And so it's going to take what my father said. He said, there comes a time when one must take a position that's neither politics, safe, or popular, but they must take it because conscience tells them that it's right. And so, that's what I'm saying. And again, we need to just continue to put some pressures on these corporations because they have a lot of power and influence.
Coca-Cola.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your words.
Is in Atlanta.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. You did the same.
President Biden making headlines today on everything from voting rights to gun legislation, but he says his next focus is on something else entirely.
All right. Thank you for listening.